now 4 o'clock or 1600 hours. I call the meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners to order. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners was provided in the following manner. Published in the press of Atlantic City, mailed to the Current and Hamilton Gazette, and has been posted on the bulletin boards in the county office building in Atlantic City, the Stillwater building in Northfield, and the county clerk's office in Mays Landing. This time we'll have our opening prayer by Commissioner Ballas.
Our Heavenly Father, we give thanks for the light of another day, for the work we have to do and the strength we have to do it. Guide us by the light, uphold us by thy power, and sustain us by thy love. Amen.
Amen. Please rise for the flag salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Chairman Commissioner Fitzpatrick is attending virtually today.
Okay.
Ballas,
Present.
Bertino,
Here.
Corsi, Days,
Here.
Fitzpatrick,
Here.
Gatto,
Here.
Kern,
Here.
Parker,
Present.
Risley.
Here. Okay. Hope everyone's had a chance to review the minutes from September the 5th. And I'll entertain a motion to adopt those minutes.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Corsi, second by Commissioner Parker. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Abstain.
Kern,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Risley.
Yes. Anyone in person that would like to speak during public comments, please come to the podium, state your name and the town you reside. You will be provided up to 3 minutes to speak. If you are attending virtually, please type yes in the resolution number in the question and answer box. Any items not listed on the agenda, you may speak during public comments. You will be called upon to speak. A request to unmute will be sent. Please state your name and the town you reside in. Okay, we have a couple of presentations this afternoon. The first will be given by our Atlantic Cape Community College, and I'll call on them at this time. Oh, Dr. Gaba, good
Yes.
evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank the board for giving us this opportunity to speak to you tonight. The last time Atlantic Cape made a presentation to you, it's about a year ago, and it was kind of too long, and at that time, as you may recall, I updated you on securing our children's future bond act, which involved renovation projects to house our new cybersecurity and esports programs. Today, we want to focus on updating you on our next Chapter 12 project. As you know, Chapter 12 was established in 1971 to fund capital projects at the community colleges. Over the past 10 years, Atlantic Cape has received $37 million in Chapter 12 funds, and in the last 5 years, it's been $20 million. That has enabled us to renovate our campuses, upgrade our technology, upgrade our camera and security systems, and other parts of our infrastructure. Most recently, we updated and renovated our student services and admissions area to create a one-stop welcome center. Many of you may have seen it on social media. That was done at the cost of $1.5 million from Chapter 12 funds, so that our students and visitors can get all the information they need about entering the college. Tonight, we are pleased to update you on our next Chapter 12 project, which is our much-needed baseball field on the Mays Landing campus. So now let me turn our presentation over to Mr. Dominic Zambucci, our Chief Business Officer, who oversees all the facilities on our campus and also oversees.
Thank you, Dr. Gaba. And first of all, I would like to thank the county commissioners for having us on today's agenda to speak about that very important project Dr. Gaba was just talking about, baseball field on our Mays Landing campus. We could do a slide, please. Thank you, Terry. I'll have some just opening comments and I'll work right into this slide briefly. As many of you know, baseball has a very long history at Atlantic Cape. Unfortunately, our team has not had a baseball field to call our own for quite some time. However, the pursuit of a baseball field is not a new endeavor for us. A few years ago, we were on our way to achieving this goal when unfortunately we encountered unforeseen circumstances with Pinelands permitting that needed time and focus to address and resolve. Well, as you can imagine, this left us with a predicament as to where we would play. This is where a big thank you to the city of Atlantic City is well deserved because they came forward to help in our time of need, provided us with a temporary home to play not just baseball, but also soccer, while we sorted out Pinelands permitting. Now that we have resolved Pinelands permitting, it is time to transition from years of being tenants to now becoming homeowners. You can just stay on that slide. Thank you. So having a home field on our main campus is a tremendous benefit for helping us through recruiting and retention of student athletes. Not only does it help with recruiting student athletes, but it also has a direct impact to recruiting students in general and further builds on alumni relations. It also promotes school spirit, builds pride, and enhances the college identity. As our athletic programs continue to grow from 4 sports in 2020 to currently 10 sports, and ultimately sustain these programs, it's essential that we continue to invest in on-campus athletic facilities. Slide, please. So here we just threw a picture of some of our team members from past. I'd like to also recognize and introduce our new baseball coaches, Coach Mickle, can you stand up, and Coach Skipsey. They're new to our Atlantic Cape program, and we're excited about the season that will be underway in a matter of months. So thanks for joining us, and we look forward to a successful season. Thank you. So what we wanted to do is really talk about why the need for a home baseball field. If we could do the next slide, please. First and foremost, convenience. Many of our players currently are traveling many miles from multiple campuses to get to home games. A field will increase our visibility and brand awareness throughout the counties we service and other counties we play against. Let's not forget revenue opportunities as well. Obviously, there's big benefit to our team playing on a home field, but also we have an opportunity to host tournaments, corporate sponsorships, baseball camps, and of course, increase student enrollment. So we expect a lot of benefits by having an athletic field on campus, among others. And we want to be on the list of schools touting that we have a home field. Next slide, please. So, as we talked about earlier, this isn't brand new to us as far as how we move forward. We're ready to go. And from a standpoint through Chapter 12 planning, we plan to build a NCAA specification compliant field with dugouts, bullpens, spectator bleachers, fencing, a sodded field, irrigation, potable water, and electrical service. Now, as we move down a path on that design, we also want to anticipate what future needs may be. So as we're building, our intent is to also keep options open for lights eventually, bathroom facilities, concession stand, among other items. The cost estimate is $1.6 million, which is in a comparable range to 2 recently constructed fields at New Jersey community colleges, which were also funded by Chapter 12 funds. Also very important to this effort is all of the awarded vendors are Atlantic County vendors, from the architecture and engineering to site construction and to project management. So that's a very big important item to us, that not only are we doing it for the benefits of our county and the student body, but also we're able to use local vendors that can provide in our time of need. So once that field is in place, we expect to maintain it. We've got a great grounds and maintenance team that we have on campus at Reed's Landing. They'll be tasked to maintain and care for the field. And the facilities are under 24/7 surveillance from our on-campus security on a 24/7 basis. Next slide, please. So to continue on the ready to go, just to give you a little history of a timeline. On March 1st, we met with the Board of School Estimates, which is comprised of both Atlantic and Cape May County Commissioners, where we received approval of fiscal year 24 Chapter 12 funds for athletic gym improvements and baseball soccer site development. April through July, we've been working with our design teams, laying out the plans, which has turned into a posted bid for a site construction vendor. And then in August, we received those bids for construction of the baseball field, and we submitted to Atlantic County with a Chapter 12 reallocation request. And then on August 22nd, the Atlantic Cape Board of Trustees approved moving forward with the baseball field with overwhelming support. This, of course, was pending the county's approval of our reallocation request. Our target completion date for the baseball field is February 2024. So next slide. So in conclusion, once again, thank you to the county commissioners for allowing us to present today. As you can see, we are very excited about providing our growing athletics program and our student athletes with the facilities and equipment to thrive and enhance their college experience. As you can tell, we want to move forward with this in a very immediate way as best as possible. So I wanted to just say thank you to everyone for letting us present to you today. And that concludes our presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Does anyone on the governing body have any questions? Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Bertino.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple of quick questions. The 1.6 million, are you reallocating those funds from another project that was already on board? Because as you know, they're capital projects and stuff, and I'm assuming when we approved the budgets and you approved the budget, you had money dedicated for something. What are you changing it to?
Yeah, what we're doing is the request for reallocation that we submitted is a $1.4 million reallocation from a Chapter 12 project that was identified as athletic field and facilities improvements. So we want to take that 1.4 million and move that and have it become the baseball field funding. And then we also have $400,000 that is already allocated from fiscal year 24 that was for baseball and soccer fields.
Just curious, from that designation you already had in athletic fields, why are we moving it specifically over to here?
Because it was more specific to the gymnasium. So when we kind of looked at the complex, yeah, it was really the gymnasium was earmarked for. And that's why with the what we wanted to do to get from a baseball field, taking our teams from moving around to different locations, we wanted to move forward with baseball. And then when we looked at funding, we realized that we were going to need additional funding that would be just really a reallocation of what was already committed to.
The monies and then the money you were going to use to fix and repair the gym, the capital, you don't need that any longer?
Well, we actually have in fiscal year 24, as part of the Chapter 12 funding for fiscal year 24, there is an allocation of gym improvements. So we expect to do a lot of that work with gym improvements with that part of the fiscal year 24 Chapter 12 funds. That amount is right around $3 million.
Has your state funding for the Chapter 12 funds been holding consistent the last few years?
Pretty much so. Yeah, we've been in anywhere from 3.8 million to a little over 4 million. So on average, it's been in that similar number range.
And the county matches that? Is it
Yes.
an equal match, 50-50?
Yeah, it's basically what we're doing is we're basically incurring the costs, and then we're ultimately billing the counties. And then however the county works with the state on the back end, I assume there's some type of I think it's a 50-50 share that each is responsible for. I'm not familiar with the process once we bill it.
As far as the improvements at the fields, from what I'm listening to you guys saying, you're putting it in a grass field?
Yes,
When I'm not assuming turf, grass,
it's a
grass turf.
Yes.
And
Sod.
irrigation and stuff, electric, you're talking about, lights are not going in now, that's gonna be future improvements.
That's correct.
Facilities out there, bathrooms and all that's not gonna be there now, that's all future improvements. That's not part of the 1.6. I was curious, 1.6 sounds like a lot if I tell somebody an open, clear field I'm spending that kind of money and I'm not getting everything, the whole package completed within those funds. So just curious about how that breaks out. Is it an open area or is there an area that has to be cleared with woods? I don't know.
Yeah,
The
I
area
can
proposed.
talk to you a little bit about that. It is an open field. It used to house a baseball field and also a women's softball field. That field is completely cleared. There may be some shadowing. If you look at the field close enough, there's some shadowing of how you would see a baseball field indentation in the soil. But it is completely cleared now. We would no longer need to, there's no trees or anything on the area that we want to build on. And, so from that perspective, it's about getting the site development underway where we could most likely get to a pretty quick turn on sod planting by the late October, early November timeframe.
This is just it's not a multi-use field. It's just baseball and that's it.
That's correct.
There was
Yeah.
no thought about multi-use for women's. I know you're looking to expand some of the
Yeah.
facilities there. Since you're spending the money in that area, I'm assuming you guys looked at that. There must be a reason why it's just baseball only.
Yeah, for baseball, it's for the NCAA men's baseball specifications that would not be consistent with women's softball. We do not currently have a women's softball team, but again, we're looking at athletic programs to introduce or reintroduce because we used to have that. But from that perspective, yeah, the 1.6 million is really covering all the items that I talked about except for lights, just bathroom facilities, and a concession stand. So this would give us a playable field. And even in today's world with some of the colleges that we polled, there aren't many that have lights just yet.
Okay.
So, and then some are looking at turf, but actual artificial turf. But we know that the cost of that would be much, much more. And then even with the useful life of those fields, they're only averaging about 9 to 10 years before they have to be replaced. So we felt that sod would be the best approach, and we felt that that was a good, safe foundation for the baseball team. And so that's kind of where we came from that perspective.
Any other questions? Commissioner Gatto?
Couple questions. So number one, I'm not sure if from like a budget committee, if we're gonna review the actual change request in
Could.
committee.
We could.
Couple questions I would have around the financials. You mentioned revenue opportunities. Have you priced out like what that opportunity is? Are we talking multi-millions? Are we talking hundreds of thousands? Like,
Yeah, we
you don't have to answer right now.
That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we haven't looked at that at this point.
Okay.
We've been focused on moving forward first from the calendar of timeline that I showed you, just from a standpoint of getting it to breaking ground ultimately. Those are things that we would ultimately be looking at because we want to understand what some of those opportunities are from a revenue perspective. But we haven't done anything to that effect just yet.
Yeah, so I would definitely want to understand, and just directionally, is it tens, hundreds, millions, like directionally? And then I also would want to know ROI on enrollment. So if we're gonna make this investment, what are we getting back in enrollment? Because we have an enrollment problem. So if we're making this investment, what are we getting back? Any additional costs on annual maintenance that would get added into the college's budget over and above what we do today?
Yeah, what I would say is, from a budgetary perspective, like I said, we have a maintenance and grounds team that takes care of our Mays Landing campus today. And from an additional cost perspective, obviously you'd have irrigation, again, so additional water, but we're on a well as well. So from that perspective, there's obviously water that we would be consuming. There'd be other types of care and feeding from a chemicals perspective to maintain the grass and so forth. But we expect to all handle it in-house as far as the grass cutting, the maintenance of the field itself, fencing, irrigation, all those things. We have a very, very talented crew of grounds maintenance folks.
Okay, and then, so I noticed you said you awarded already to vendors, which is interesting. Have you gone through the whole site plan approval process with the municipality yet?
Yeah, we actually have Pinelands authorization now, and then we also have permitting as well. So
That's Pinelands, but
Yes.
Hamilton Township, you don't have
We
to go
haven't-
to planning
We
and
haven't done that because where we started was, we went to the August Board of Trustees Committee. And at that time, we were moving down a path and we put in, basically the overall bid process started and was due in the early August timeframe. So before we really started to commit to anything beyond design and construction, we took it to our Board of Trustees, which is our standard operating procedure. And at that meeting, we were coming forward with a award bid that we were looking for to get approved, and that was approved. The only thing that we were asking the county for was for a reallocation of the Chapter 12 funds that had already been authorized, which we have done in the past on somewhat frequent basis, where as projects either adjust from a standpoint of cost, or maybe some other projects just don't come to fruition, we look at, opportunities to where we can repurpose or reuse those particular Chapter 12 funds. So really what we were asking for from the county is, the authorization of that reallocation request. So we have all the other, I'll say, items in place where we've gone through our due diligence on the field. We've gone through the SOP, the operating procedure with the Board of Trustees. And now we're looking to move forward, but we can't until we get hopefully authorization to reallocate those funds.
Okay, and we don't have like a resolution for that
We do not.
reallocation yet, right?
We do
Okay.
not.
Okay. All right, thanks. Like I said, just the opportunity and the ROI would be my key questions. And then what's the site plan approval process with the municipality? Or timeline, I guess.
Any other questions?
Mr. Chair, I have a couple of questions.
Yes.
Thank you. I think I heard you say that you had $3 million to do work in the gym. Is that correct?
Yes.
So 3 million aside from the 1.6?
That's correct.
So $4.6 million altogether.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Between 2 years.
No, we're not doing the gym now, but we have, what I'm saying is we have committed funds that when we did put in for Chapter 12. My apologies, sorry, I didn't mean to intimate that we were moving down the path just yet on that. Just clarifying where the funds have been identified and allocated from a Chapter 12 perspective.
But not actually in hand, so you don't have the money.
Not without the reallocation to say from the.
The reallocation would be the 1.4 million, not the 1.6 million. You're gonna put 400,000, I believe, I heard you say in addition.
Yes.
But the 3 point whatever million for the gym, that money's not in hand. You don't have that money.
No, we don't, not yet. That's a fiscal year 24. So the bonds wouldn't be written until the June timeframe.
Next year.
So
Next year.
what it
Yeah.
sounded like to me was you're bumping up the baseball timeline and bumping back the gym timeline. Because the
Correct.
gym is the money you have
Correct.
in hand, the baseball field is money you don't have, and you're kind of wanting to swap
Right.
that.
That's correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
So, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I know everybody waiting for me to say something. Right?
With
No, I
bated
wasn't
breath.
waiting for that.
I wasn't.
Not exactly. If you want to know, you since you brought it up.
So let me, first of all, I appreciate your presentation, and I must admit from the very outset, the campus of ACC is outstanding, maintained, et cetera, et cetera.
Thank you, sir.
One who come from baseball field, overseeing Surf Stadium, I know what it takes into it, the upkeep, the irrigation, the treatment, the closing, the opening, the whole 9 yards. It's a heavy lift at the end of the day. People think you just show up, you got a green field, you play some ball, and it is what it is. But that's not always the case, right?
Understood.
I've had the opportunity a week ago to go out to the site to look at it. As
2
well.
hour site,
Excuse me.
2 hour site at Mays Landing.
That is.
Okay.
Where else you put in the field?
Make sure.
So, yeah, I went out there, looked at that, and I also looked at the soccer field
Soccer
adjacent to it.
Yes.
I get it. I have some real concerns. And that concern is that, one is that if I was to vote on your request, it'd probably be a no at this time, and I'll tell you why it would be a no. I think the money right now is well better spent in the gymnasium. Multiple things could happen in the gym year round opposed to just a seasonal thing outside. You started at 1 million, then you're at 1.4, then you're at 1.5, now you're at 1.6. That's an estimated cost, and we don't know how much more it's really going to cost. I heard you state earlier, and I would agree, and I don't know who said it, I talked to someone from the staff. Yes, it's nice to walk out of the campus onto a field, but at the end of the day, is that money well spent at that point? Because the team is what, 25 people, right? I heard somebody make the argument that they don't have weight to the field. 25 kids come to Atlantic City every practice or every game, right? I don't see very many staff members there, but I see the kids there. So it's not like the staff really supports the kids out there on the field playing baseball. I'm a witness. I don't see that many of them there from the outset. But more importantly is that I would rather spend the money in the gym because enclosed, year-round, et cetera, until times get better. The enrollment, we've all said it, has been down. You have not proven where enrollment has gone up. And just because you build a field doesn't mean you're going to increase enrollment. Let's be honest, right? It's a good talking point. The fact of the matter is that you haven't done, in my opinion, haven't done anything to increase that. And so we're going to talk about asking the county to grant your request at taxpayers' expense on Chapter 12 so you can put a baseball field in. I don't think that's money well spent. Let me take it a step further. I said this to Dr. Gaba, I've said it to other people. That Atlantic City campus need more improvement than Carter got liver pills. We're not investing in that campus. You just built a brand new wind
Training Center.
you know what I'm
Yes,
talking
sir.
about, right? What are we doing with that? $4 million. What are we doing with it?
We're in the middle, we're in the middle of training and ramping that up. So yes, you're correct. We're ramping that up, but we're
We
waiting.
hear very little about it, but it's there,
Yes, for
right?
sure.
Beautiful facility, it's
Yes.
there, right? You can actually see it, it's inside, blah, 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 blah. Especially with all this windmill stuff going on around the country, stop the windmills, et cetera, right?
Mhm.
So that was probably, in my opinion, money well spent. But we gotta ramp that up too, right? It's not just Orsted and Atlantic Ocean, but we gotta get more folks in the community involved in what's going on. My personal opinion, as I said before, I think this money could be well spent in better places, in the gymnasium, into the Atlantic City campus for right now. I'm not saying knock down the road, don't do it, right? I don't think the time is right. And I gotta be perfectly honest with you, your members of your staff, Dr. Gobb and others, there's no damn way in the world that field's gonna be ready by the time the season starts. Been there, did that, right? Wishful thinking. I'm the contractor. I'm gonna tell you what you wanna hear, right? I'm gonna get the contract. I delay it, then where you going? Now, I said to all of my colleagues up here, and I said it to Dr. Gobb and others, and the staff, you pay $1. And I don't give a rat's tail if you come back to Atlantic City, to be honest with you. But you pay $1. That's all it costs you to use that field. You'd rather spend almost $4 million, $6 million, $1.6 million on a field of dreams that we haven't increased no enrollment. To tell me that because if you build a field, those kids are gonna increase, one, I hope they increase their plan in terms of winning. I mean, I thought the teams were good the last couple of years, just can't get out of the way for whatever the reason may be. And I've seen a lot of improvements in the last couple of years, no question about it. But to use the argument that you need you're the only community college that doesn't have a baseball field, I don't think the taxpayers give a rat's tail if you got a baseball field or not. What is our return on the dollar? What is the enrollment at the college? That's the kind of stuff people really want, the meat and the potatoes of it is, right? If it happens, it happens. But the truth of the matter is that I'm not sure if the time is right now. When will be the time? And I know Steve Niemed and others was doing this campaign to raise money to put the field in. It's nice to have it on your own campus. But in this day and time, I challenge my colleagues as well. Is that money well spent right now on that particular project? I don't think you'll get an argument if you made that argument for the gymnasium, if you made that argument for the Atlantic City campus. I'm not debating none of that, right? But at the end of the day, I'm saying to you that when we look at the numbers, I don't think it matches up right now. That's just my personal opinion. And you know, Dr. Devens, you'll get your chance to talk in a minute. But the other thing to that is that, listen, I think y'all have had a good ride in Atlantic City, right? For the years you've been there for $1. All you had to really bring was the material. Half the time we didn't get that, but we made do. And the last couple of years, your staff has not taken care of the field. Our staff have taken care of the field, here or there. I remember Dr. Devens has indicated to me there was a scheduling problem. I can't figure out, but 2 times you weren't able to use the field. It was Easter Sunday and a rain out. Right, so when we talk in terms of not available to the field, only person used that field, so we're clear, because I've heard too many different comments about this field. I want to be very clear. Only people used that field from January to May is Atlantic Cape Community College. Atlantic City High School don't use it, Perfect Game don't use it, so access to the field is really blowing in the wind, because that's not true. There was 2 times you couldn't use the field that I'm aware of. One was the Easter Sunday and one was a rain out. Well, it might have been some other rain out, but in terms of the field's always been available for practices and game. And again, I don't care if you come back to Atlantic City, I don't think we should be spending this type of money right now on the field that you're asking to do. Now, I can't speak for none of my colleagues, but I'm sure that we agree that it's better, well spent in the gymnasium, the Atlantic City campus at this time. Come back and revisit it another time. That's y'all's call, but I'm just responding to some of the comments you made. And I know it's been a hot issue, it's been a hot topic. I'm aware of the meeting y'all had and stuff that went on. That's fine and dandy. At the end of the day, as stewards of the taxpayers' money, we've got to be very confident in the fact that we wasted money, throwing money away. And again, is this another field of dream? And I can say that because you look at the Surf Stadium, you build it, they will come. Yeah, they came for the first 7, 8 years. It was a wrap. $16, $18 million. And after 10 years, it just kind of like faded away. So, you know, that's my spiel. This time depends on what Dr. Devenish have to say if I'm going to rebuttal.
Hope not. I am Dr. Natalie Devenish. I'm the Vice President of Student Affairs and Enrollment with oversight of athletics. Our athletic director is here with me, Jamal Edwards. But my goal here is just to talk about enrollment, just naturally. That's what I oversee. And Commissioner Gatto, I do have those numbers. So prior to, well, we're going to talk COVID year because I actually came on board 2021. So right after COVID, we had 4 teams. We had about 52 players. We added sports, we added more, we made athletics a priority. Dr. Goblin made a commitment in 2020 when she decided to hire an athletics director, which we hadn't had for 13 years prior. And in order to do that, you focus on the students, you focus on the facilities, and you focus on the need. And this has been part of the plan. The contract that we have for the city was always temporary. And at some point, the conversation needs to happen, which is now, the growth is here. We proved that we have the numbers. Now we need the space. So back then we had 55. This past year between spring and fall, we had 163 athletes, unique athletes for our programs. We have built the baseball team, as you all know, that we have made the playoffs. We have not won, but we made it. But that took a lot of support in getting the students to come to the campus to recruit and say, the team isn't here, so you have to drive 40 minutes or 20 minutes to a field. It takes away from college time. The goal here is not to debate where we should be. It should be to give them a space to help us build enrollment. Where we talk about enrollment nationally, it's a national decline, not just Atlantic Cape. It is a national decline. Once we won't see an increase in enrollment until 2032, period. That should be the only time we should be expected to have a significant increase. But what we do have an increase in is athletics, and that is proven in athletics only. So the goal here now is to continue the momentum, give the students the space that they need, and also the opportunity to focus on their work, because what we do embed in all of our athletic programs is that they're students first, that they are required to have tutoring hours, We partner, we create space at all of our campuses specifically for that. The goal is just to support the change, whether we do it now or we do it after June 30th. We believe that the time is now, right now, for us to continue to keep the students with us.
I do have a question on that. You said that, I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, that we've increased programs, athletic programs, and we've increased athletes. In what sports?
Oh, okay, help me. So we had, you help me, he's testing me to make sure I got it. This is how you know I do my job. We had, in 2020, we had baseball, men's basketball, women's volleyball, and
And what was the third one?
Archery.
Archery?
archery.
Now,
Women's volleyball.
now, my question is, none of those sports other than baseball are gonna be using these fields or this field.
So can I give you a different perspective,
Please.
Commissioner? All of those sports, most of the sports that I just said currently use one gym to practice. If the growth that we maintain, we're going to need the space to send them, whether they're outside practicing or in. It's
If-
just not enough space.
If the
to
growth
open.
area is in inside sports though, wouldn't it make more sense to put that money into
Not
the
if
gym
you
where it
have
was?
soccer trying to use it for practice on rainy days, when you have baseball trying to use it, archery, when you can expand them outside. Right now, there's no question if we need to expand the gym. This is why it never came off the priority list. In fact, when we saw it, neither Jamal and I were here, or Dr. Al, I don't believe. We saw that, we only put 1.6 million for the gym. That's definitely not enough to expand. Hence the request for the 3+ for 2023.
So really, we're talking about expanding the gym, expanding the fields, or bringing the field back, the baseball field. Are we doing soccer too?
The soccer's already started. We need very minimum work.
Very minimal for soccer,
Correct.
but there are improvements that are needed there as well.
Irrigation.
And then next year, we're gonna be back here again, asking the taxpayers for more money to put 3 million into the gym.
That was already,
Yeah, you understand my point though. It was approved, but this wasn't. So if we're moving the money today, we're gonna have to replace that money next year. And then with additions, in order, for future money, in order to do what I see as a more pressing need, a gym expansion. I just want for clarification.
So I think Dr. Devlin, and I agree with my colleague, that money would be better used expanding the gym because all the other activities outside baseball and soccer, like you would say, it's inside stuff. And I get it. Nobody's gonna argue that case. What I do take exceptions to is that you keep talking about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. There you got to get to the college anyway from somewhere. Everybody don't live around the corner from ACCC College, right?
correct.
So they come from everywhere. So it ain't like being in Atlantic City was out of their way. We don't know where they come from. They could be Atlantic, Pleasantville.
But we all can admit that there's transportation.
I'm sorry,
issues
say again.
national. We all can admit that there's transportation issue. So the students to get to the college, but we're not talking about the ones that get to the college. We're asking them to come to the college, take their classes, do study halls, get to the city. That's what I'm saying. I think it's a burden, and even for our coaches to have to take vans and take them and go back and forth, it becomes a liability in many different ways. So it's very hard because I live in Atlantic City, so I take the trip all the time. But I think the point we're making is even in the March 1st allocation, we put athletics expansion is what we requested because we were looking to do this project, whether it's now or next year.
Mhm.
We're just asking that we use the monies already allocated for the gymnasium for that and spend the $3 million in the gym.
I'm gonna be honest, and I'll stop talking at this point. I'm gonna be honest. I think that coming to this general meeting is putting the cart before the horse, and just listening to some of the commissioners' questions. I think it would have been a better strategic position for you to go to Education and Schools Committee, which I happen to be chair of, so I can speak for that committee. I think this belongs in that committee so that we can comb over these details in that committee before it comes to this board to make a decision on taxpayer money. Because again, and not just education in schools, we'd have to have a conversation with the budget committee. I mean, this is taxpayer money. This isn't just, let's move $1 million. That's irresponsible on our part. We don't know about the contractors, and you said you've done your due diligence, everything's done, but how do we know that? We just have to take your word for it from what we heard tonight.
Yeah,
But
just-
I was gonna
yeah.
say, is that something
Yeah.
you would normally do for any?
Yeah, if I could, I'm sorry, Dr. Devonish, just one quick question, now please stay. But no, it's, we went through our standard operating
I
procedure.
understand what you said.
Yeah, and we went to the board, trustees for the campus, and they approved it overwhelmingly. It was more of just the reallocation of the chapter. 12
I
that
understand
we-
exactly I don't have that, trust me, I understand exactly what you said.
Okay,
I think all of us understand exactly what you said, and yet I am still stating, I think the proper course for this project is Education and Schools Committee and the Budget Committee. From us, approval from the Education and Schools Committee to the Budget Committee, then to the General Board for discussion
With recommendations.
with recommendations from Education and Schools and the Budget Committee. Without having that level of expertise and being able to comb over the details, you're literally asking us to make a $4-5 million decision on taxpayers' money based on what you just gave us tonight.
Let me say,
And I'm sorry, that's irresponsible.
let me just say this.
So, Mr. Chairman.
Wait. Dr. Galvin got the
As I
floor.
mentioned in my
Chairman, don't cut me off like that again.
over the last
She's got the
10 years, we've received about
You asked
20
the
to
commissioners
70
that
million
question.
dollars in Chapter 12 money for that time to
I'm sorry,
improve
Dr.
the
Galvin.
campus. And during the course of that time, we come up with a schedule of what we want to do year per year. And it's been very routine for us to transfer, move things around, priority shift. This is the first time we've ever come here to give this story, but we have done this before in the past.
Well, there's new commissioners up here that are chairs of different committees, Dr. Galvin.
Let Dr.
So,
Galvin
as I said
finish.
before, we have received a lot of Chapter 12 money, used it very, very wisely. And we've followed all the procedures for that, and the only thing we're doing now is the shift of priorities as has been done in the past, just shifting things around a little. Yeah. Also, as has been mentioned and research has shown, that when you enhance athletics, you bring in more people, students. We have been very happy and very, very satisfied to have been tenants. We now want to be homeowners. I think you've all been in that place. You've been tenants somewhere, it's been good, it's been comfortable, it's temporary. We want to be homeowners at this point. And that's why we're presenting our PCT.
Okay, so now I'll
Mr. Chair.
One at a time.
Hold on.
She's answering, she's responding to my statement, so I have the floor.
Say again?
I have the floor. So no one is questioning ACCC wanting to do these projects. I didn't hear that from anyone. Not even from Commissioner Corsi, who I think probably is the strongest negative that you have, or the only one that said he's gonna vote no. He's the only one that made that statement. I didn't hear him say that he's against the projects. What I'm speaking about, and I don't think anything that you just said spoke to anything that I said. It didn't answer anything that I said. The process that you're taking, I'm telling you, as the chair of Education and Schools Committee, I think you took the wrong process. I can't speak for what happened in the past. As Dr. Devonish said, you only got there 2020, you said it was, you arrived. I can only speak about things that happened once I sat in the chair. I can't speak to what was allowed to happen before I sat here. I'm telling you as the chair of Education and Schools, what I believe, and a commissioner sitting up here now, is the process this needs to take, not against the project, against the process of us moving $5 million of taxpayer money should be Education and Schools first, with recommendations to the Budget Committee, with recommendations back to this general committee. I don't know what I'm saying, that's confusing.
If I
We did.
can, Mr. Chair.
Good.
Just as an example, one of our next agenda items, NARTP, came to Budget Committee, we reviewed it. We felt it was ready to move to the full body. They made a presentation last meeting up to the full body. Now is the third time they're in front of us, we're gonna vote on it, right? So to me, that would be
That's the process.
the process. And I, I appreciate, Dr. Devenish, the numbers that you gave on the, enrollment. I would like to know baseball specifically, but certainly an increase of 108 athletes. If I, $5,000 a year per student, that's $500,000. That's pretty good. What does that look like as the program builds? These are things that, when I sat on Board of School Estimates, I asked for some key performance indicators, ROIs on our marketing dollars, on investments like this, right? So that would be from the budget perspective committee. That would be the type of things I would want to look at. It's what I have to do every day in business is what's the multi-year plan? What are we getting back on the investment, right? So that's just my point from the budget
So,
committee.
so Mr. Chairman, let me, before you rudely interrupted me,
Yeah,
let me go back to what I was saying again. And I can't but agree with my colleague. I don't know how this got on the agenda, who made the phone call. I really don't give a rat's tail who did it. But as the chairman, you've been around here longer than everybody in this room. And if it would have been your committee, you would have raised holy hell because it didn't come to your committee first. So Commissioner Parker's right. If I still would have been chairing the committee, I would have turned this place out because you bypassed the committee, which has nothing to do with the college. It's the respect of the committees and the chair people. You may be the chairman, but you don't dictate when the chairman, the committee chairman calls a meeting. They should have gone before the committee and then to the budget committee. And you and I have had this conversation on a number of occasions. I think the process was done wrong. I'm not going to say it was something sneaky, but I will say I don't like the way it happened. And I make no qualms about it. ACC is caught in the middle between whether the commissioner supported it or not because it didn't go through the right channel, right? Again, whether they get baseball on the site or not, that's one thing. We're talking about taxpayers' money. And as the gatekeepers, we've got to be held responsible, right? And we can agree to disagree, and we can have conversations. But what you're not going to do is when I'm talking, cut me off. Because we'll be here till the sun come up. Because when I'm asking the question, I expect the answer, whether it come from you or from the college. And one more time, I'm gonna tell you, don't do it again, or we're gonna have some words and it ain't gonna be nice. When I'm asking the question, whether you agree with what the question I asked or the answer I get, if I agree, doesn't matter. I asked the question, I believe Dr. Devenish gave me the answer. I don't agree with it, but she gave it to me. But you're not gonna cut me off because Dr. Gaba got up to have a conversation. You asked that the commissioners have any comments. That means the floor is mine. Nobody can out grandstand me.
now, are you done?
Oh, no, I'm not done. When I'm done, you know when I'm done. So the fact of the matter is that at the end of the day, again, we'll look at those numbers. We'll do what we got to do. If it's the right thing to do, we'll do it. But you're not just going to rush it and throw it down my damn throat and say, let's vote on it. Matter of fact, it ain't even a resolution. Even you agree. There's nothing on here today to give them that authorization. But it should have gone, Chairman, with all due respect, it would have taken all the hard feelings out of the way if it had gone to the right committee. And it didn't. Whoever arranged this, and I got my suspicions, who arranged it, it doesn't matter. Let's do the right thing, Chairman. Any committee that there's an issue going, you should make sure it goes to the proper committee going forward. This is water under the bridge now, right? We're moving forward. And at the end of the day, if it makes sense, we move on it. If it don't, it doesn't. Right now, it doesn't make sense with all the programs that you have going on inside the college, inside the gym, to be wasting this. I'm not going to say waste, but putting this money right now outside, right? Come back and revisit it at another time. That's just me speaking. I can't speak for none of them. You know, there's 8 other opinions out there. And you know what they say about opinions. Everybody got one. And so I hope from this meeting going forward, there's more conversation going through the committees, coming back to finance, to budget committee, and make a sound decision. And Chairman, I'm not accusing you of pontificating mundane and deranged stuff. I'm just saying, I think it should have gone directly to the committee. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I haven't said one word.
I didn't say you did.
In regard to any of this, quite frankly, you know, everybody else has spoken. I've not spoken one word in regard to this. Commissioner Ballas, you want to
Yeah.
speak?
Yeah, just real quick. Thank you, sir. First of all, I haven't really sat through too many presentations with somebody asking for a project and this type of money. And we have no architectural drawings. I mean, you kind of glossed over, we're gonna have dugouts, we're gonna have electric, but there's not gonna be lights, so I don't know what the electric's gonna do. But what are we actually getting for this money? So if and when this project does come up for a vote, I would hope that someone will be here to be able to physically show us, you know, they say, you know, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, we could have saved a lot of words. You know what I mean? So if we can, I'm sure you must have them because you paid for it already.
We do.
But nobody brought them. You know what I mean? So if we could learn more about it, because I'm thinking the same thing as Commissioner Bertino. You know, we're talking about $1.6 million for to basically resurrect a field that's already there. They're already, I mean, I've played out there before. It's already there.
There's nothing there.
Well, it was there.
It was there, yeah.
Everything is cleared. We're not knocking down trees.
Right.
The field is there. You need to bring in dirt, you know, whether your dugouts are going to be concrete, whether they're going to be just a couple pieces of chain link fence, I don't know, you know. So whenever we do move forward, I would just hope that we could actually see some renderings, architectural drawings, and have a little more specificity to it, and you know, and maybe, you know, talk about, you know, what the future plan is and what that is going to cost in order to add lighting and the things that will really make it a baseball ready field, and not just something that they can go out there and knock a few balls around on. But we also, you know, we need to hear what's going on in the gym, because that was your main focus, but then that shifted. You know what I mean? But that still needs to be done.
Sure.
You know, and the only time baseball or soccer, if there is soccer, is going to happen in the gym is when it's raining and they want to come in and say, hey, you can't play basketball today because we want to hit some balls around inside the gym. You know, so I mean, there's a lot of different activities that you have, but you don't have the space to do them, which we understand, or I understand.
Chairman.
Yes.
I think we've proven right now, we have a lot of questions. We have a lot of questions, we have a lot of opinions, but questions that have to go through committee. I just feel we spent a great deal of time on this, and I think it was, you know, worthy for all of us to get those questions out there, but I think we need to send it to committee and get it to, you know, budget as well.
That's a motion, I second it.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say a few words if you don't mind. I'd like to say a few words. You know,
Ask the chairman.
geez. Okay, we've spent quite a bit of time on this topic. Now, to coalesce this thing, we can certainly have it go through the education committee and the budget committee and come back to the full board with a formal written resolution on this topic. And that ties it up. I mean, I personally, I don't speak for the board. My personal feelings is that the college has been pretty responsible in this thing. They've moved monies in Chapter 12 before. I certainly support the baseball. I think it's ridiculous that our college does not have its own facilities. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. They've done a lot of great things out at the community college. The renovation that's just taken place with the One Stop. If you haven't been out to see the renovations, they look nice. And I think things are progressing. So I'm fairly happy with what's going on at Atlantic Cape Community College, but we will do this process. I just don't want to get into micromanaging a particular department of this county. So, but we will run it through the education committee, we'll run it through the budget committee, we'll come back with a report to the board, and it'll be voted up or down.
So, Mr. Chairman, through you to the chairman of that committee, I would suggest and recommend that one, you kind of move as expeditiously as possible
Absolutely.
to move to get information, come back. It's not that we're micromanaging, it's just that we have questions. And so,
We'll be proactive. Tara will be in touch. Thank you.
Yeah, and reach out to all the commissioners. Commissioners, it's our responsibility to get any questions we have or concerns we have.
Yeah,
to the
absolutely.
committee.
Absolutely.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
does it make sense for the clerk to receive whatever they may receive from the college and distribute it to both of the committees? So they're all up to date,
Absolutely.
and then you can move forward from there?
Absolutely. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for your time and the presentation today.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you very
very
much.
Okay. All right. Our next presentation we have is going to be about our employee benefits. And we have a presentation to be made by Marsh McClellan. The difference part.
They're afraid to come up, yeah. I think they're afraid to come up, so.
Chairman, if I could, by way of introduction to the group that's going to address here. This is an initiative that is a result of the large increases that county employees and the county sustain as a result of the substantial increases in premiums by the state health benefits plan. And the county, over the course of the last year, has reacted proactively to try to see what alternatives were out there. We explored different options, and then this project came along, which is a consortium of the Marsh McLennan Agency, which is one of the largest insurers in the world, along with the group from the Difference Card. And we have with us today Sherry Campanero and Tony Mahan from Marsh McLennan, and Chris Calderone and Gus Bello from the Difference Card. So we've heard these presentations before in-house. They've been very enlightening. We think, at least from what we've reviewed, that this is a good plan and deserves support, and there will be two resolutions on the agenda, 531 and 532, which we will be seeking your approval on. But at this point, I'll turn it over to the gentleman from Marsh McLennan and the Difference Card to make the presentation. And thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jerry Campanero, Regional Senior Vice President of Marsh McLennan Agency. And with me, I have our sales senior executive vice president, Tony Mahone. So as Jim had mentioned to you, over the last, I've probably been working with Atlantic County, not in an official capacity, over the last 4 or 5 years. But as the state health benefits plan shifted their cost almost 30% in the last 2 years, he's tasked us to find a solution to mitigate that, to increase the level of service to the members, increase the level of communication to the members, reduce the costs and keep the benefits equal to or better. It's a pretty large task when you're talking about a 30% increase over the next 2 years. I also work in the public entity space. I work with Cape May County, where we've been able to do this because they're outside of the state plan. The challenge with getting out of the state is the experience for Atlantic County has not been favorable. So every dollar of claim that was paid into the state, somewhere between 100 and 400% was paid out. So Jerry and his administration, we worked hard, and in the beginning of this year, with Tony's help, we were able to move Hunterdon County into this strategy, working with the Attorney General's office to move what's called a health reimbursement account. That health reimbursement account is a strategy where an employer changes the plan design, takes the savings, helps offset the out-of-pocket costs for the employee by changing the plan design. Chris will explain to you how the process works. He'll explain to you who the Difference Card is and why we're using them. Wasn't an easy task, but we were the first ones to do it. Hunterdon County, he'll show you at the end of the presentation, potential savings to taxpayers is close to $3 million. So I'm going to introduce Chris Calderone.
Thanks, Terry. Hello, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity. Well, not as interesting as baseball. Hopefully this will be,
Oh, yeah, you don't, we don't need in this case. You don't want to be that interesting.
So I'm going to go through the executive summary talking points. And if there are questions, we've got a detailed proposal and presentation that we can go through. But just to start, we are here because of the large increase that the New Jersey State Health Plan has given now 2 years in a row. We had a 21% increase for 2023. And then the Aon report shows another 7.5% increase coming for January 2024. So on a dollar perspective, the county's total expense is about $29 million today in 2023. It brings it up to $32 million based on that 7.5–8% increase that's coming for 2024. What we're hoping to accomplish with this program is to help reduce the cost for everyone, for the membership and for the county, while still keeping the benefits at equal to or better than what the current coverage is today. So the health reimbursement arrangement that Jerry was alluding to is approved by the New Jersey State Health Benefits Plan Committee. We've gone through the necessary approvals there for Hunterdon County, and then we've also reached out to get preliminary approval for Atlantic County. They have said we need a resolution before we'll give you final approval, and that's why we're here tonight. As we look at the potential for savings using this strategy, the potential guaranteed savings is $3.4 million. There's the opportunity for additional savings, but the guaranteed savings based on the insurance policy is about $3.4 million. The actual fixed cost reduction, the way this plan works is instead of paying the state the full $32 million, we're suggesting you pay them $4.7 million less by buying a plan that they refer to as the 2035 option. It's one of the state health benefit plan options, and it's got a significant reduction in premium. So instead of paying $32 million, we're paying $4.7 million less to get that fixed cost reduction. We know there is going to be expenses. Employees are going to use the card, so we're saying the net is going to be about $3.4 million in guaranteed savings to the county. The way the program works is the employees get the 2035 plan as the base plan. So the employees, the staff would all get savings because now their Chapter 78 contributions are based off of that lower cost 2035 plan. Most of the Atlantic County employees are on the 2030 option. That's their current base plan. So it's about a 13% savings for them. But you also have staff that have bought up to the Direct 10 and the Direct 15. Direct 10 gets a 24% savings. Direct 15 folks get a 21% savings. So pretty significant savings for staff. We're also suggesting the Direct 10 benefit is the benefit level we're delivering back to staff to give an incentive to utilize this program. So with that Direct 10 benefit that they would be getting through the difference card HRA, they're essentially getting access. Everybody needs equal access to about $15,000 in total potential expense on this card. The way the state approved it is we have to give an equal amount of money, but those monies are very specific to health insurance, just to pay the differences in the copays and deductibles. They're only going to use for, again, medical insurance and prescription insurance purposes. And we purchase a policy through a reinsurer called Assurant, and they're a large AM Best reinsurer. They put a cap on the claim liabilities. Instead of the county taking on $15,000 per employee, they actually cap it at about $1,000 per employee. So it mitigates the risk. You'll see in the resolution, there's a premium that you have to pay for that insurance protection, but it puts a big stop loss protection for the county. So instead of taking on $15,000 of exposure per person, you would only take on about $1,000 of exposure per person.
And all of that's baked into that bottom line number.
It is correct. The
Right.
3.4 million is the net number. So that includes the stop loss premium, all the administrative costs, the claims are all included in that.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if I may, I just have one question. I don't know if I direct it to Jerry. It sounds good. And, you know, coming from Atlantic City, looking at all this stuff, we understand statewide about the benefit. What is the union's take on it?
Well, I'll let them.
Okay, now,
Because they've been meeting with the unions and making presentations.
okay.
So let them give you, they have the, I mean, I have people telling me that, and I can tell you this, most of them were saying it sounds really good. there are some issues that they will be working out about out-of-pocket costs. That's the big concern that I've been getting, that are potentially out-of-pocket costs. They get reimbursed, they don't have to pay them, but some people, depending on that level of out-of-pocket, they're concerned, do I have the money to do that? So let them get into that a little bit with you, so, you know.
Yeah, we've had about 15 meetings so far with different unions throughout the county, and I know there's another 15 more potentially scheduled for October if you're interested in moving forward with this. But the general feedback I've received is skepticism at the beginning of how could this possibly work and how could this save us this money, and is there some catch? There's definitely skepticism. After we get through the presentation, it definitely seems to come full circle where now they understand that they're not going to have to pay for the card. The county is responsible for the HRA. They're going to get the savings in premium by going to the 2035. So the majority of employees have been satisfied after the meetings. We had one just earlier today with the CWA in Building 101. And I think 80% of the employees left that meeting with a positive reaction that they're interested in doing this type of program.
I'd like to know what 20% were their issues other than out-of-pocket costs?
It's really the extra step. I think nobody likes hearing that somebody's messing with their health insurance and that there's a change. People just don't like change, especially when it comes to healthcare. And there's an extra card that you have to bring to the doctor. So I'll just show you mine. I'm a difference card member. When I go to the doctor, I use this card to pay a portion of my copays. So you have to remember to bring, it's an extra MasterCard to pay a portion of the copay. If you have a major medical occurrence, let's say the hospitalization, you could see a bill. There could be a bill of up to $2,000 for an in-network claim. Now the county's going to pay that bill through the difference card mechanism, so they're not liable for it, but they do have to tell us about it. They have to submit a claim so that we know to pay that bill on their behalf. And that is an extra step. And we've been upfront with the staff that there's going to be that extra step. If you have a major medical claim, you got to submit it to us. And when you go to the doctor or the pharmacy, you got to bring this card with you.
Mr. Maslow, I'm sorry, please.
Did you want to go through your presentation this time with the slides?
Well, yeah, I'll ask the,
He's kind of been speaking.
Yeah.
if you would like me to, I'll go through each slide. It depends on how much
Up to you.
time.
Just one comment, so we've been calling on a regular basis, Huntington County, talk to the administrator there. So they're working through this extra step that you have to take. They've been working through that with the difference card. So I mean, it was an issue, and it lessons and lessons as people learn that if you have regular doctor visits, Chris will tell you that if you knew in advance, and in particular, we have one county employee who said he had to go for an operation, he didn't know how he was gonna, he would have to come up with money. In his present plan, which is NJ Direct N, he knows he doesn't have to worry about that. But being 2035, getting the benefit of NJ Direct N, knows that he'd have to put money out. And I said, well, you heard Chris at one of the sessions say, you sat through that session with him. He said, if you know in advance you have something and you can ask the doctor or whomever, whatever medical practice you're at, to tell you what that's going to be. If you went and called Chris or Chris's staff or Marsh McLennan's staff, they'll walk that through you, and they'll make arrangements to pay it directly to the medical provider. So there are those mechanisms. So it's something that we're going to have to work through. But just remember the history. The history was state made this decision. Governor put the money in for state employees, didn't do it for local employees. We began to look at other health plans. Every single plan we went down the road, and we work with Congress Strong, we worked with Marsh McLennan before. Every one of the plans all said the same identical thing. Our claims are way in excess of premium, so therefore we weren't acceptable to any of the, they call health insurance funds or any other type program. They came up with this for Huntington, and I think we were the second ones that they called, and we got permission from the state to do it for a year. So that's and it's a benefit to the employee because whatever they were paying in their Chapter 78 costs will go down, and they actually get the benefit with this extra step of a New Jersey Direct 10 benefit, which is the best benefit in the state.
I'd like to see, for the public's benefit, putting up their slide, I think it's number 7. You can do that.
Yeah, slide number 7 speaks to the cost of health insurance and how it has risen. This is something you'll see in the news. This is not just the New Jersey problem. Nationwide, there is a problem with the rising cost of healthcare, but it really hit home in New Jersey during the past 2 years, as we saw that 21% increase in 2023, and then another 7.5% increase coming for 2024. If we look at the Direct 10 premium for a family, you're talking over $43,000 a year per family for the total cost for that Direct 10 plan. Unbelievably unaffordable compared to the national average of about $25,000 a year for a family plan.
And that's the bottom line.
Really understand numbers real good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
insane.
at the end of the first year, Jared, we make a decision to continue.
But we'll monitor,
Right.
I mean, they already have reports that we'll begin, so we're monitoring it all year long, and we would have to do something before October,
Right.
because that's when open enrollment occurs, that's right.
So would that be a yearly contract? As Amy just made a comment, is that 2 year out, 3 year out? How's that working? So, I mean, in the middle of 1 year, they say, hey, get the hell out, you gotta go, right? You start negotiating with somebody else, so where does that leave the employees? But I think you answered most of my questions regarding the unions. That's always a heavy lift, and nobody like changes. But when we getting hit with what, 21, 22% increase from the state of New Jersey, and we have already heard 100 times they pay on this board that the employees are low paid, et cetera, and paying a lot of money and for healthcare. I get it. But that's half the battle. If you get past it, you get through the union, and it's always going to be skeptical, right? It is what it is, right? And so, what's the best bang for the dollar? And from what I'm hearing right now, it sounds good. But the details is always in the devil always in the detail. I was going to say in the pudding, but you took it. But yes.
Mr. Gatto.
Mr. Chair, so we did review this in budget subcommittee, yesterday. I don't think we had any major objections. I think, we asked, or we tasked, I guess, Jerry, a while ago when the increase happened, go find some solutions. And we, I think, are appreciative of having an option to even consider, because after we looked at the premium data, we did see that our options were gonna be slim. And I think the opportunity cost to having to do some extra paperwork, and a little bit of extra due diligence on behalf of the employee is that they are gonna get a couple bucks back in their pocket directly, which is what we were looking to happen or help mitigate that increase that they just saw. So again, we reviewed it. There was no major objections. I think we had good discussion on it. I don't know if, John or Karen have anything additional they want to add.
Just that that finally some kind of a solution for the employees to really, and I'm very happy that we have this to offer to them. And you're right, Amy, a little bit of extra paperwork and an extra credit card is worth a couple of dollars back in your pocket, for sure.
So Craig, just for the sake of argument, so that NJ Direct 10, so if I'm an NJ Direct 10 for family, I'd be paying a percentage of my salary of the $43,398. So let's just say I'm paying 10%. The health insurance for a family in 2035, did you say it was like 32,000 something per year? Remember?
Yeah, it's 24% less than the Direct 10 plan.
Okay. So it's 1/4, roughly 1/4. So one-fourth is like, let's say $10,000. So I'm paying 10%. I'll be paying 10% less on $10,000. So I would have an extra $1,000 in my salary. I wouldn't get that every pay.
Right.
Because you have taxes. That will show you what you would go up with, $1,000.
Yeah.
And you get.
Chair, through you to Derek.
Yes.
Yeah.
If we approve this, is this going to be an option for the employees, or this is what they're going to get? This is it?
Yeah, it's two option.
We discussed with Jim, Jim wanted to tell him what we could question.
This would be an option. every employee can opt into this during the open enrollment, which will be coming up. We're not forcing it on any union. You know, but again, addressing the unions was important, because, you know, obviously, health insurance is a negotiable item. If this does prove to be beneficial and we move forward down the road, then we do have to go to the unions and get their consent on it. But right now, for the open enrollment, which will start in October, and this would take effect January 1 and would run through the 2024 calendar year, that is optional for each and every employee.
That answers my question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Chair, Commissioner Ballas?
Yeah, two questions, and I remember state health plan. Okay, when the state came in and made their presentation about how great it was, and it sounded great, just like this. Okay, and then we seen, you know, what happened later on, once they have you on the hook and reeling you in the boat. First of all, in order to make this work, is there a certain number of employees that you need to opt in for this to work?
It's pretty small. It's 20 employees have to opt in order.
20 throughout the entire county?
20 is our minimum.
Okay.
So it's fairly
That's good.
low. Obviously, the more you get, the more everyone saves.
Correct.
But 20 is our minimum.
Okay, and how long is this rate or this program locked in for? You know, are we here next year and you're all of a sudden now you guys are going up 20%?
Yeah, so our arrangement works in conjunction with the cycles of the state health plan. So every year we have to evaluate what is the cost for the 2035 plan and what is the cost for the direct 10, 15, or 2030. So we do have to renew in the same cycle as the state health plan. So it is a 1-year deal.
Right, but your reduction will remain the same, you know, whatever the state goes up, the percentage that we're saving is still gonna be the same.
That's right.
Okay.
And that is on a slide, you have kind of a projection.
Right.
So if you look at slide 10, it'll show a 5-year projection, but it's our job throughout the year to continue to build that strategy. So one of the other most important things is we spoke with membership employees that were not seeking treatment they should have had, because, for example, was one individual had to get physical therapy. Now that person's not going to physical therapy because he's in the 2030 plan and it costs $30 3 times a week instead of $10 3 times a week. In addition to, what if in the future we're saving dollars for claims because that person's not seeking treatment? It could turn into a hospitalization that needs even more dollars. So continually, we will continue to look throughout the year. We'll be back here before open enrollment next year. We'll share with you everything that we find, and the reporting is also second to none, which will help this committee as well as Jerry's administration make the decisions for 2025.
Right, and one last question, is there anything, and being you guys are, you know, worldwide and, you know, so big, is there anything that could be built into the program for preventative? In other words, so we can flip-flop our, you know, our
Premium.
dollars that we're spending, you know, for health insurance and amount of what it's costing, you know, for people to get involved in, you know, preventative stuff, whether it's, you know, gym membership, whatever you think would work to keep these, whether they're injuries, illnesses, whatever it is that's costing Atlantic County employees more money than what they're putting into it.
The same exact thing that Jerry asked us in addition to dollars at the beginning of this process. We're going to crawl, walk, and run. We may run next month, but we're going to crawl, walk, run. The initial step was to find the other solution, gain information on your plan. But if anyone's familiar with Cape May County, we have them outside of the state health benefits plan where we can really look into the wellness, do those things. But we're going to educate and communicate wellness. We're going to speak with them. We also got one of the vendors, the carriers, to give a grant for, we have a full facility there, a full gym that is like their basic. They have access to the gym. They have access to a therapist there that helps them along those their physical challenges. And there was no cost to the county of Cape May. Every member can use it over 19, their spouses can use it, and children under, over 19 as well.
Any other questions? Yes.
I don't really have a question, I just have a statement. I just want to really thank Jerry and the administration. I mean, this was a shock when we all got this, 21% increase. It was a shock, it was a burden, it was really hard on our employees, and it was not hard on you to find something like this, but you worked hard at it throughout the administration, and we thank you for that.
I certainly echo that, and I hope that we're all in agreement here on this topic, that something has to be tried. The rising cost of healthcare is going to threaten a lot of things in this county, the way it's going and the increases. And we don't want to get in a situation where we have to reduce services or lay people off because of health insurance premiums. And that's what I'm most concerned about. These percentage increases are just out of this world, 21%. Next year, 7 or 8 or whatever. And the future, God only knows what the numbers are going to be 5 years from now. So it is a huge part of an employee's compensation package. It's their health insurance. With that, hats off to administration. Let's go forward.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, could we
Yes.
move items 531 and 532
will
forward
do
now
that.
so we can have a public hearing and vote?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll entertain a motion to adopt resolution 531.
You want Tara to read it? And
You gotta have a comment on. Kara, please read 531.
motion second, then public comment, right?
Yeah.
They need a motion to move it up?
Just
Okay,
motion to
motion to move 531 and 532 to the top of the agenda.
All in favor, moving up, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Madam Clerk, please read 531.
EOS contract with TP Employee Solutions, limited liability company for the difference card, stop loss coverage, health reimbursement account administration, and medical benefit consultant services. Amount not to exceed $1,010,000. $1,010,880.
Move.
Second.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Gatto, second by Commissioner Perrin. Discussion? Public comment? Yes, sir.
First of all, I have several things to say. My name is John Holleran. I'm from Northfield, New Jersey. I've been a resident for 18 years. I don't understand how the difference card is going to work when we're bringing in a third-party vendor to take more money from our union members and our employees. The other thing is, management, I guess this is answered already, that management was gonna be able to pick individually, and if a union adopted it, everybody in the union was gonna have to accept it. Is that true, or it's gonna be everybody gets an individual crack at it?
That's
All right. How is, bringing another vendor, there is a non-third party stepping in to take benefits. The rise in benefits from the 21%, I think the county should be fighting the state for, and we should just be accepting it and passing it on to our employees. This is a state versus the county problem, and it should not be a bit of a surprise that healthcare costs rose so dramatically after the COVID. We're all being told to go to the doctor whether we have insurance or not. Half the healthcare costs are going to go up. Atlantic County and the state was obviously caught with not looking out for themselves. Who fills out the claims? When we present our card, who's gonna fill out the claims, and how many times am I gonna have to fill out that claim to have it accepted? It's gonna be more than 1 year.
So every time that you swipe the card,
Yeah.
there's no need for paperwork or
There's no need for paperwork?
No, you do not.
Is every doctor going to accept that?
Anyone that accepts MasterCard will
Will
accept.
accept that, but they have to accept MasterCard.
That's right.
Okay. How long does the reimbursement take? You keep saying that we were going to be reimbursed. That means money is coming from me.
So if you forget to use the card,
I'll have to.
that's when you would have to get reimbursed, and we reimburse claims in 2 business.
Sorry, and what are the caps? What are the caps for certain procedures, for a heart procedure, for any procedures like that? What are the caps on all of your procedures that we can go through?
Yeah, so it follows the Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield
Okay.
plan. There's no inner cap or exclusions. It's the same Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield coverage that the membership has today. And we're just filling that gap between the 2035 plan and the 2030 or the direct 10 plan.
Why can't everybody just go to the direct plan and just forget about this third party?
Because it costs significantly more. That direct 10 plan is 24% higher.
But still,
Let us play out.
telling me I'm gonna get direct.
Let it play
I'm
out.
not gonna have to pay anything.
But
You're
nobody's
gonna
gonna
give
hear
us $50,000. Where's the money coming from?
Because the state charges 24%
Shouldn't the
less.
questions be directed
Yes.
to us, please?
The questions need to come here, so.
Okay. Where is the money coming from when we're getting this $15,000? You're saying we're not gonna have to put any money out of our pocket. It's gonna save us money, but everybody's gonna get $15,000 to use towards their healthcare costs. Where is it coming from? It's obviously coming from someplace, and is the county coming up with it? If the insurance company's coming up from it, we're obviously paying them probably more than $15,000, or they're making money someplace off the backs of the employees of Atlantic County. And I think that's about all I have right now.
Okay?
Yeah, and I also wanted can I comment on the surf stadium? When was the last?
Not for this particular.
All right,
We're on the topic.
those are all the questions I have.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak on this topic? 5:31. Okay, sensing readiness to vote. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ballas?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes,
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes. Okay, please read 5:32.
Resolution authorizing the addition of the New Jersey State Health Benefits Program, NJ Direct 2035, offering a health reimbursement account and a debit card.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Ballas, second by Commissioner Gatto. Discussion? Any public comment on this one? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ballas?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
yes,
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen, for providing an option. We appreciate it.
We heard that good.
That's this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you didn't mention you brought donuts.
Right?
I hope that's helping my health out.
Moving on. Moving on.
Okay.
Madam Clerk, would you please read bond ordinance number 3 by title?
Bond ordinance providing for the design and construction of building number 2 at the National Aerospace Research and Technology Park in and by the County of Atlantic, New Jersey, appropriating $2,500,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $2,380,000 bonds or notes of the county to finance part of the cost thereof. Final reading.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corson, second by Commissioner Gatto. Discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
thank you. I just have a comment. Of course, I'm going to be supporting this ordinance. I think it's very exciting. The NARTP Park is going to be part of the triangle with Dover Air Force Base and McGuire, as we were told at our last meeting during Mr. Kyle's presentation. But I have to express again, these jobs are literally for rocket scientists. And we need jobs for people who don't have PhDs. We need to find a way to bring industry into Atlantic County for regular working folks. We need those jobs, and I implore ACEA, please look a little lower on the corporate structure. We need to have some jobs for people who live here and want to support their families. That's it.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Commissioner Ballas.
I have a question. Now I'm kind of confused, and I'm glad Howard is here. Is all the space rented out in that building? Or can people for the lower end of the spectrum come into that building and hire people?
Rented out, but we have about 8 potential tenants that we are in close contact with in the second building.
Yeah, for the second building. That's what we're bonding now, right? We're not bonding the first building.
That is correct. The challenge that you always have is that when companies are saying, I'll come back to me when this is real, come back to me when we started construction. So we, as I don't want to tie this up, because I know I went through this in a lot of detail at the last meeting. There is significant interest in that building. I don't believe we're going to have any problem filling up that building. Largely because, as I discussed here previously, on this particular building, which we're doing the groundbreaking on the 12th of October, this is built for the post-COVID market. This is built for companies that are now doing hybrid work. So we're looking at tenants will be taking 3,000 to 5,000 square feet of space for the most part. And the thing I want to stress, one point I want to stress, hopefully we may not need your money. That is our hope. We are making every effort to build this building debt-free. We have $8 million in place right now, $3 million from USDA, $5 million from a state grant. We are working very closely in the final stages with NJEDA to do investment through their centers of innovation, where we're asking for $8 million. The reason why we are asking for funding for the county, NJEDA said that, all right, you have enough money here apparently. What about if there's a cost overrun? And so to satisfy that requirement by NJEDA, fortunately, the county is helping to step up. Hopefully, as I mentioned, we'll build a building debt-free.
Right, so my question was, the new building that's going to be built is not completely leased out yet.
No.
So there is potential for jobs for Atlantic County residents, for businesses that go into that building, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
And let me stress this, that not all the jobs at the research park require PhDs. A lot of them are going to be college-educated jobs. But bear in mind what I said last time I was here. We do not look at the park as an end in itself. The park is a component of the overall aviation industry.
Exactly.
And as Lauren mentioned, he is working on the job sections with the airport, air cargo now.
It's JTA, and there's 2 cargo projects that are going to be.
And the final thing I will make, and open up for questions if anyone has it, is something I really didn't stress last time I was here, but I think it's a very important point. He mentioned about the signing the agreement with IRG. I think it was signed last week at the airport. From the time, about 5 years ago, we sat at the ACEA offices, outlined this project where we go to SJTA. They could not do anything with the air cargo area at the airport because it was a bird sanctuary. We worked the field of board. I've been through this. We relocated that bird sanctuary. It took 5 years of aggressive effort to get from that day. We said, let's go after this. You got the agreement signed with IRG. That's because you had to go through Timelands Commission. You had to get approval from local community. You had to get a location. You had to get appraisal of that location. You had to negotiate with the seller, all of that. So that took 5 years to get there. Now, final thought was, if we hadn't done that, and I came to you and you said to me, what are you doing to start air cargo at the airport? Well, we had 5 years to go. So yes, this can be frustrating. It can be frustrating because you don't see the jobs right away, but we're putting in place the infrastructure on that. Final thing is tomorrow, if you were at the NARTP tomorrow on this project that I mentioned, where we have the triangle actually opening up the airspace over South Jersey, there is a meeting there tomorrow with chief scientists for the Air Force. There are people coming in from Dover Air Force Base, there are people coming from Dwyer Air Force Base. The NASA scientists assigned to the park will be there tomorrow. Dr. Ian Levin, Dr. Al Lois will be there tomorrow. FAA people there. The whole point is, let's get the infrastructure in place where we can start doing this. And none of this is easy. None of this is easy. This is hard and it's a long slide, but it gets us in a position to at least be something else other than a resort community with casinos.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Gatto.
If I could just, I kind of find Commissioner's comments a little bit insulting to our residents. You know, our job with this project was to diversify the economy in Atlantic County away from hospitality and to create new opportunity for higher paying jobs for our residents. And that's why we've not only initiated this development plan, but let's not forget the amount of education programs we've put in place at high school, community college and four-year college throughout the county and the kind of triangle area, right? And our partnerships with some of the other colleges. So that was the intent all along, was to really raise the bar on the opportunity that we're providing to our residents, and to kind of raise the bar on the caliber of our county here through diversification of our economy and all the opportunity that can bring kind of as the tailwind of this beginning. So I think it's great work. I know it's been a long haul, but I just think this is the start to a really prosperous industry for us here in the county.
Creating jobs also, Air Park also, aircraft maintenance repair.
Absolutely, and we've got the programs, the education programs to support those.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I don't want to hear Coward no more today. And I'm trying to figure out which project was the longest, the dam or this project. We had so many conversations.
May turn out to be the and it might be the baseball field to be the longest.
No, appreciate it.
Any questions?
Any questions?
Nah, you guys doing a great job.
I hope we get on it. And you guys do a great job of helping us.
Oh,
Any other comments?
Public
Yes, yes. Public comments, please, on this topic. Hearing none, sensing and readiness to vote, all I can say is that, this aviation plan and all that they've done, it's the future of Atlantic County, and we have to be patient. Patience is a virtue, and we have to be patient. It will come. All these jobs and the ancillary industries that will spawn off of this will be beyond what we know now. With that, please call the roll.
Ballas?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes. Okay. All right, moving into our resolutions. Resolution number 508.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Thanks for
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry to interrupt. I have an appointment that I was not able to schedule for later tonight, so I'm going to have to leave. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so please read 508.
Grant application and acceptance from the New Jersey Department of Corrections for the County Reentry Coordinators Program, amount not to exceed $100,000.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, second by Commissioner Gatto. Discussion. Public comment. Hearing none, call the roll.
Ballas?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes, please read 509.
Amending resolution number 624 adopted on November 15, 2022. A grant application to the New Jersey Department of Human Services for the 2023 statewide respite care program, net increase $46,575.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Gatto, second by Commissioner Kern. Discussion? I'll just make this one remark. All these resolutions in regard to dollars were all discussed in the Budget Committee. Any public comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ballas?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes, please read 510.
Grant application and acceptance from the New Jersey Governor's Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse for participation in the Alliance to Prevent Alcoholism and Drug Abuse Program, amount not to exceed $298,340.89.
Move.
Second.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Ballas, I believe, second by Commissioner Gatto. Discussion? Public comment? Hearing none, call the roll.
Alice?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes, please read 511.
Amending resolution number 306 adopted on June 1st, 2021, a grant from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and the National Center for Chronic Disease Prevention and Health Promotion for the Community Health Workers for COVID Response and Resilient Communities Program. Net increase $150,000.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Gatto, second by Commissioner Days. Any discussion? Hearing none, any public comment? Please call the roll.
Alice,
Yes.
Martina,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Risley.
Yes. Please read 512.
Grant application and acceptance from the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs for the Local Efficiency Achievement Program County Coordinator Fellowship Grant, amount not to exceed $75,000.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Gatto, second by Commissioner Rutino. Discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
just want to highlight, we did have a shared services committee meeting, discussed a number of the projects that were in flight in 23 and some things we're looking at for 24. And just want to give kudos to Tim, our coordinator. This resolution is specific to being able to continue his salary and continue to seek out the shared services opportunities. And he's come up with some good ideas. He's also helped a lot of our municipalities kind of hold their hand through the process and find ways to not only partner with either with us, or with other municipalities. And I just want to highlight the work, Tim has done and is doing. And it was heavily debated, 75 grand, but I think we all made the recommendation to move forward with it.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, if I
Yes.
may, so I wasn't gonna say anything to Amy had to bring up the 75. Since you brought it up.
Huh.
We started out at what, 45?
50.
How much?
50.
50. And we at 75. And I have to admit that this is probably the best $75,000 we're gonna spend in a while. Because when I tell you, as Amy said, he works his tail off.
He does.
And the services, the information that he gets back to us is very, very helpful. And even communities are thanking him for it. So I get, normally I'd be raising the holy hell, right? But this is $75,000, Chairman, well spent. And it couldn't happen for a better person in terms of the effort, the work, the time he puts into it. It's not when the guys are come in the clock and I go home. He puts a lot of time in it, no matter where you see him. He's always on the job. So kudos to him, as Amy said too.
It's even better that it's grant money.
It's grant money.
Say again?
It's even better because it's grant money.
Even better.
Commissioner Kern.
Yeah, I just wanna, after what, you're saying, he does not just wait for something to happen. He goes out, he makes recommendations, he reaches out to other municipalities when he sees something else working with somebody and he thinks it'll benefit them. And he's been very energetic that way, so.
Any other discussion? Any public comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ballas?
Yes.
Martina?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley.
Yes, please read 513.
Pending resolution number 160 adopted on April 4, 2023, a grant from the New Jersey Department of Human Services, Division of Aging Services for the Older Americans Act 2023 Area Plan Contract Grant. Net increase $2,035,575.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Bertino, second by Commissioner Gatto. Discussion.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I think it's worth noting that this is, we're seeing like a big bundle of COVID money coming
Yes.
through. And that's where you're gonna see this, and you'll also see some other programs that are now gonna be a recipient of that money coming into us. So there's a number of items on this agenda that kind of go on that thread.
COVID money. Any other discussion? Any public comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ballas?
Yes.
Martina?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley.
Yes, please read 514.
Professional services agreement with Pinnacle Dietary Global for dietitian consulting services for Meadowview Nursing and Rehabilitation Center and the Division of Intergenerational Services, amount not to exceed $102,000.
Move. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Gatto, second by Commissioner Kern, I believe.
You can go with that, sure.
Okay, all right. Discussion? Hearing none, any public comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ballas?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Stays?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly.
Yes, please read 515.
Amending resolution number 679 and 681 adopted on December 6, 2022, competitive contract with various vendors to provide nutrition site management and Older Americans Act area plan services, net increase $237,736.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, second by Commissioner Gatto. Discussion? Hearing none. Any public comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ballas?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Stays?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly.
Yes, please read 516.
Amending resolution number 142 adopted on March 21st, 2023, a contract with John Brooks Recovery Center for the provision of medicated assisted treatment and related services for inmates at the Atlantic County Justice Facility to extend the term date, amount not to exceed $113,496.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, second by Commissioner Parker. Discussion? Hearing none. Public comment? Please call the roll.
Ballas?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Stays?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly.
Yes, please read 517.
Resolution authorizing the County of Atlantic to renew its membership in the Atlantic County Insurance Fund Commission and authorizing the county executive to reappoint commissioners and alternate commissioners.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, second by Commissioner Gatto. Discussion? Public comment? Hearing none, call the roll.
Ballas?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Stays?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly.
Yes, Madam Clerk, please read 518.
Amending resolution number 341 adopted on June 21st, 2022, an interlocal agreement with the city of Port Republic regarding surface course mill and overlay improvements to portions of Mill Street in conjunction with the county's planned improvements to PR7 Nakota Creek Bridge and to extend the term date only, no additional cost.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Ballas, second by Commissioner Days. Discussion?
Yes, Mr.
Yeah.
Chairman.
Days.
Jerry, I see here that they're gonna prioritize the completion of the intersection, hopefully by November 1st.
Right.
You know, I hate to give those solid dates, but does this mean that the bridge will be open in that time period as well?
Yes.
Okay, because almost everywhere I go, someone is asking me, what's going on with the bridge? They're working, it's a 5-year project, it's never gonna open?
Well, you know, we did the extra
No.
triangle.
Oh,
piece.
I know.
Doug, I think is on, is he still on? Doug might be able to give you,
Well
why
done.
don't you we'll go through, Doug.
Yeah, so we're actually supposed to be reaching substantial completion this Friday on the project, but there is some punch list items that would interrupt traffic if we open the bridge at this time. They're actually touching up some painting underneath the bridge, and they have a piece of equipment that allows them to get underneath the bridge to do that type of work. So we should have it open within the next month. I don't have a hard date on that yet, but we're getting very close.
No, I appreciate it, thank you. And I kept telling them the bridge was substantially complete, it's pretty much done, but I kept telling them 2 weeks, so it's been 2 months to 2 weeks, so. Another month.
Before clone, have an
That's because you
open.
wasn't.
All right, thank you.
Open on Monday.
Yeah.
Chairman,
What Monday, who knows?
Right, yeah.
so just to piggyback off of Rich, I went out there a couple times. And when the lady said, can I help you? Actually, no, but I was actually looking at the bridge. And when I tell you, from the time I worked in the county and when we had to make repairs on that bridge and to what they have now, trust me, that is beautiful. I thought it was open by now, would be open by now, but I tell you, job well done and money well spent.
Mhm.
And those residents, I'm not sure if they want all that traffic coming through there now, but maybe a shortcut to the parkway, but it looks real nice. Good job.
Thanks.
Any other discussion?
No, thank you, Doug, appreciate it.
Great bicycle route, by the way. When you go drive that, there's bicycles going back.
It is nice.
Any public comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ballas?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Corsi? Stays?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly.
Yes, please read 519.
Amending resolution number 112 adopted on March 7, 2023, a contract with Clifford B. Finkel Jr. Incorporated for transportation of the e-poll books and voting machines to the respective polling places to reflect a name change to CPF Trucking.
Move. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Gatto, second by Commissioner Kern. Discussion, this is just a name change. Any other comments, any public comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Alice.
Yes.
Martino.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Grizzly.
Yes, please read 520.
Renewal intergovernmental services agreement with the Atlantic County Area Agency on Aging and the Atlantic County Division of Public Health for the Older Americans Act Area Plan Services fiscal year 2023 at 100% funding. Amount not to exceed $120,050.51.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Parker, second by Commissioner Kern. Discussion. Hearing, yes.
I just have a comment. As Commissioner Gatto mentioned, we have numerous resolutions associated with our senior residents and, throughout the county. I just want to thank administration and all the departments that provide those services. And again, administration for getting, looking out for the grants and federal funding.
Good. Any other comments? Any public comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ballas.
Yes.
Martino.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Grizzly.
Yes, please read 521.
Renewal intergovernmental sub-grant agreement with the Atlantic County Office on Aging for various services under the Older Americans Act. Amount not to exceed $1,277,867.
Move.
Second?
Moved by Commissioner Kern, second by Commissioner Days. Discussion. Hearing none, any public comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ballas.
Yes.
Martino.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Grizzly.
Yes, please read 522.
Intergovernmental sub-grant agreements with the Atlantic County Area Agency on Aging and the Atlantic County Division of Intergenerational Services for various services under the Older Americans Act. Amount not to exceed $1,966,669.
Move. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Gatto, second by Commissioner Kern. Discussion. Hearing none, any public comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ballas.
Yes.
Martino.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Grizzly.
Yes, please read 523.
Acceptance of deed easements from various grantors in accordance with Atlantic County planning standards.
Moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Days, second by Commissioner Kern. Discussion. Hearing none, any public comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ballas.
Yes.
Martino.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Grizzly.
Yes, please read 524.
Memorandum of Understanding with the Atlantic County Workforce Development Board and Jewish Family Services for a Bridges to Employment Program revenue generating.
Move. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, second by Commissioner Gatto. Discussion. Hearing none, any public comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ballas.
Yes.
Martino.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Grizzly.
Yes, please read 525.
Amending resolution number 617 adopted on November 1st, 2022, an interlocal services agreement with Atlantic Cape Community College for the Atlantic City Electric Line School Program to extend the term date only, no additional cost.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, second by Commissioner Gatto. Discussion? Public comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Alice.
Yes.
Martino.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Grizzly.
Yes, please read 526.
Resolution requesting the cancellation of funded and unfunded appropriation balances under various bond and capital ordinances previously adopted by the County of Atlantic for capital improvement projects in the total amount of $115,142.92.
Move. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Kern, second by Commissioner Gatto. Any discussion? Any public comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ballas.
Yes.
Martino.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Grizzly.
Yes, please read 527.
Intergovernmental Services Agreement with the Atlantic County Utilities Authority to provide laboratory testing services amount not to exceed $35,000.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, second by Commissioner Gatto. Discussion? Public comment? Please call the roll.
Alice.
Yes.
Bettina.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Grizzly.
Yes, please read 528.
Amending resolution number 313 adopted on June 1st, 2021, an interlocal agreement with the city of Summers Point concerning construction of bike lanes within the county right-of-way along New York Avenue, County Route 665, to extend the term date only, no additional cost.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Parker, second by Commissioner Gatto. Discussion? Public comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Alice.
Yes.
Martino.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Grizzly.
Yes, please read 529.
Amending resolution number 144 adopted on March 21st, 2023, a shared services agreement with Ocean County to place Atlantic County youth at the Ocean County Juvenile Detention Center to guarantee one daily bed, net increase $59,312.50.
Move. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Gatto, second by Commissioner Kern. Discussion? Hearing none. Public comment? Please call the roll.
Ballas.
Yes.
Martino.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Grizzly.
Yes, please read 530.
Sourcewell National Cooperative Agreement with Enterprise Fleet Management for the lease and management of various county vehicles, amount not to exceed $1,410,000.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Kern, second by Commissioner Gatto. Discussion? Public comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ballas.
Yes.
Martino.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Grizzly.
Yes. Entertain a motion to combine and adopt resolutions 533 to 535.
Move.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ballas.
Yes.
Martino.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Grizzly.
Yes, moving into our reports. If anyone has anything they'd like to report on a committee committee, now's the time. Okay. Any unfinished business? Yes,
Sure. Yeah, three things, for Jerry or Doug or whoever wants to answer them, maybe even Jim. First, I know I haven't asked about this in a year, but I have to ask about it now because I don't see anything being done. I know we gave the contract for the beacons for the
Yeah.
volunteer fire departments.
Yeah.
Any movement
Yeah, well,
or any kind of time schedule on them?
they'll should be able to handle that one.
Okay, the other one probably for Doug is, also the Zion Road paving project.
Yeah.
I noticed that nothing has been done on that, probably in a month now. If that's, we're just
Well,
waiting,
he'll give you
we're just waiting for the
timestamp.
paver
That's it. Right.
or whatever. Then, Jerry or Jim, the Bowling Cemetery over in Port Republic / Galloway that we talked about, the county trying to take, possession of that. We, any closer to that happening? Is the county still looking into taking possession of that
You haven't done
cemetery?
anything, I haven't done anything, it's not, we haven't done anything with them, we still maintain the property for them, that's what we're doing, we haven't taken,
So the county's not interested in taking possession?
not
of
really, I
that,
mean,
so-
that's, my conversations with appropriate people, they're not interested in taking it anymore,
Okay,
but we are maintaining. it
okay,
for
well,
them.
maintaining it, it was
We
brought to
cut the
our,
grass and trim it, whatever.
yeah, it was brought to our attention the other night at the Veterans Advisory
Yeah.
Board that there's several pickets on the fencing area there that are broken. And, of course, one of the members wanted to know if we just went out there and fixed them with the county get mad, but I don't know whose property it is and.
Belongs to, my understanding is my original discussions were with Mayor Giverson, Gary Giverson.
Right.
And Gary, that mayor always told me that they were taking possession of the property. And they asked us to continue the process of maintaining it. We said yes. I mean, the exact, authorized us to do yes. I've spoken to new Mayor Giverson, Nikki. Nikki says they never really took possession and it belongs to the church.
To the church,
So
right?
that's my understanding. So it means their property. if there's a problem with the fencing, then I'll certainly call them and no, there's a problem with the fencing, I'm pretty sure they know that. You know, whatever.
Okay. So, Doug,
So Doug, you wanna answer the question, Doug?
Sure, flashing beacons. The submittals were approved in late August and the equipment has been ordered. I heard it was about a 3-month delay on getting that equipment in. So as soon as the equipment's in, the contractor will start the installations.
so we're looking at 3 more months, possibly.
Another 2 months before they start the work in the field. They should have the equipment in another 2 months.
Okay.
And then Zion Road. I
Correct.
know there was a settlement period for the trenches for all the drainage work and the concrete work. I do not know exactly when that settlement period's over. I'll have to talk to our chief inspector to find out what date they plan on getting back out there to pave.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Anything under unfinished business, new business? Topic of new business? Any written communications or petitions?
So Chair,
Yes.
written communications, we had, an email come in from Estelle Manor and another come in from Univista Township with regard to, some road requests. So, Jimmy, I know I forwarded one over to you asking to be on the next Roads and Bridges meeting. Now we have that one from BVT, so I don't know if it's worth getting a meeting together.
We are.
Okay, talk about those things. Just want to make sure that, it's not going unheard.
Good, no, very good. Very good. Yes.
Mr. Chair, yeah, and I think, I don't know if we all got it or just certain members, certain commissioners got it. The person, the name escapes me, basically complaining about 2 of the prosecutors that we have for the Central Municipal Court, that they weren't treated correctly, and they did file a complaint with the Office of Administration of the Courts, but they, for some reason, they wanted us to look into it. I don't believe that's our position to look into anything that goes on in the municipal courts, the centralized municipal court. They're overseen by an assignment judge, and they have municipal division supervisors and everything else that oversees all the municipal judges and prosecutors. So I did not answer the email. I don't know if anybody else did, but I don't believe it's our position to investigate a municipal prosecutor as a commissioner. I don't think we have that
Agreed.
authority.
Anything else under new business or written communications? Okay, we'll move into our public session at this point. Anyone from the public like to speak? Now's the time to speak on any topic.
Stephen Young, I'm here on behalf of National Action Network, South Jersey chapter of the president. And we're about a human rights violation. And I want you to hear and feel what I'm saying. Imagine you being senior citizen and you get a call from someone that's been incarcerated in Atlantic County Jail. And then they go there to see if you can visit. They tell you cannot visit. You have to go online and you have to sign up first. Then you try to find a computer. And the poverty rate in Atlantic City, most of you know what it is. Then you gotta have internet access. And then you have to find the person where they at, and they have to put you on the list. And then after you do all that, they give you a date. Tell you to come in, let's say, September the 16th, Sunday, 1:30. You're a senior citizen. Then you gotta go back out there again. So you get there, 1:30 comes, you ask for the person, half an hour go by, no? So you talk to security there. And you said, well, where's the person? I said, well, come on back with everybody else. So you go back there another 45 minutes and sit and wait. All for the 45 minutes when all the other guests leave. And you're sitting there as a senior citizen, got to get back home. All this time. They tell you cannot see others. Well, that happened to me at the Atlanta County Jail this Sunday, the 1:30. Now, there's been times when I was held there against my will for some charges. Now, I can't even get there to get a visit from someone that's saying they have a human rights violation. So that's just the tip of what's going on. I don't know who made the rule that our poverty-stricken community has to go on the internet to get a visit to someone in jail. I don't know where that came from. I don't know who approved it. I don't know if it's a resolution or policy, but it needs to be looked into. COVID is over when it comes to those type of issues. So you should be able to go and see your loved one or visit someone who having an issue. So I'm here to talk about the solutions to it. One is, I heard a lot about committees. I don't know who chaired the jail committee.
I do, sir.
I need to meet with you like yesterday. Okay. So we can talk about solutions to these type of things that we've been saying going in and out. That's my time.
Yeah. That's all right.
Thank you. Well, I would like to meet with you seriously, as soon as possible. We would like to try to set up a time to visit where we can actually go to the facility. We have done that before in the past. And it helps because when people come outside, they're in the street in the community. That's when we see the mothers, we see the children, they come to visit and so forth. You may not get to see those people, but we do. So you may not get a chance to see the other side of what people go through. And that's why I wanted to explain to you what actually happens. So with that, I look forward to meeting with you. When is your next meeting?
We can schedule one. We don't have one scheduled right now.
Next week, we find peace on this possible.
Next week I'm not here, so next week's not gonna
We're
work.
talking October.
Sometime in October.
Can I get your number? And will we have to have the warden there or anybody else who can make decisions on what's going on there?
Well, we'll talk
That's
first.
who be at your.
We'll talk offline first, yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anyone else like to speak? Okay. Hearing none, then we'll close the public portion of the meeting. Move into the big order. Well, all anxious here. Go ahead, Amy.
Are you?
Ladies first.
That's the first time. Every time it comes to me, he skips me, but I'm gonna
Ladies first.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to take a moment, last week, I think, it's crazy. Last week, I had the opportunity to attend the retirement ceremony for Master Gunnery Sergeant Mike Shank, after 28 years in the Marine Corps, and also after, I think it was 20 years in, teaching. I met Mike number of years ago when he was a guest speaker for Atlantic County. I can't remember if it was Veterans Day or Memorial Day. But he gave a very, very moving presentation, those years ago. He's an extremely decorated Marine, with an impeccable service record. I am very lucky. I got the opportunity. Mike, attended the gym that I go to in the morning, and, I get there about 6 a.m. Mike is usually just getting done at about 6 a.m. and he will have run about 10 miles for fun by the time I'm getting there, and he would be pepped up, ready to go. He had a bunch of, we called them Mike-isms. I learned from his colleagues, they called them Shankisms. Apparently he speaks them wherever he goes. One being, when an egg goes into hot water, it gets hard. When a potato goes in the hot water, it gets soft. Are you a potato or an egg? Those would be the things that Mike would talk about every morning at about 6 a.m. while I was like barely awake. But he was a great guy, he's a motivational guy. And I just want to recognize not only his service to our community and our country, but his family decided to, the day after retirement, they moved to South Carolina. So we've lost him as an Atlanta County resident, unfortunately. But he did not feel his time in service was done, and he moved there because he was still age eligible to become a law enforcement officer. And that's what he's doing. And he's a really, just like I said, incredible human being. The ceremony was extremely moving. I think we had 5 generals, lieutenant colonels that attended. And just a wonderful presentation. So I just wanted to take a moment to honor Mike and his contributions to our community and most importantly, our country.
He also served on our Veterans Board.
He did, yes, he did. And a number of our Veterans Advisory Board members were there,
And
so
I think still reach out to
it
him
was
when
great.
there's-
Yeah, yep. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, wait a minute.
Well,
Oh,
wait,
my, no.
Well, Rick,
No.
in a minute, go ahead.
No,
Ladies
no, this
first.
is
No,
you, this is you.
I'll get it.
No,
I'll get it.
no.
Ladies first.
No, you were next.
No, go ahead. What I'm gonna say is totally different.
Mine's very short. It's, we do have the flu clinics, the free flu clinics coming up October 3rd to 31st at Atlanta County. We'll be holding. The dates and places are on the website.
Mr. Corrigan.
Mr. Chairman,
I yield.
the two things. One is that whoever designed the sign out front,
Oh, it's awesome.
outstanding. Very digital. I don't know if
Yeah.
most of y'all recognize it coming in.
It's nice.
But it looks very nice
Yes, it
and it finally identifies.
Your
the building.
public health officer, division director.
Okay. Hey, tell them thank you, good job. And on another note, we have been talking, Frank, and a lot of us been here for years. We always talked about the crosswalk.
Yes.
And I noticed that today, those lights are on. I mean, I don't know if they're on, but they are. I did not push the button. And that's always been a safety issue, even here at night sometime.
Yep.
And,
Jump back. There you go.
the question is, are they working?
My understanding, they were operable.
Yeah, they're up, they're up.
We used to call it the Joe Silipina crosswalk.
Bridge. So, just kudos. It looks real good out there. Finally got up there. And like I said, the digital sign is great. I need to put Chris's name on the bottom.
Okay. Any other comments?
Happy Rosh Hashanah and happy Hispanic Heritage Month.
Just like to report that I did attend the Pleasantville, the Lakes Bay redevelopment. That's pretty exciting what's going on there. The plan is to build 180 units there. Now, I know been different proposals there over the years, because I've attended some of them in the past, never happened, but I think this one's gonna happen. It looks like a good, solid plan. They started the dredging this past Monday in the area, in the waterfront. Gonna have shops and gonna do a total redevelopment of that area, and I think that'll be a wonderful thing for Pleasantville and the county. So excited about that, and looking forward to it. I also attended the ribbon cutting of the business hub in Atlantic Cape Community College. That was in our Cape May Courthouse campus. So that's an entity to help businesses grow, particularly young businesses. Also attended last night the South Jersey County Commissioners Association meeting. And of course, I always attend the mayors and league of municipalities, but the most impressive thing was attending the Wounded Warrior, that's the ceremony they had, which was just the other night. It was very moving for Chief Petty Officer Philip Fong. and what he went through. And the American Legion there provides, and other people donate various funds to put him and his family up in the area for a week. And there was a parade and a dinner, and it was just a beautiful affair. So very happy to attend those events as well. Anyone else have anything? No, motion adjournment's in order. So moved. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.